Thank you.
Mr. Ranieri.
2 minutes, that's all I get, 2 minutes. My main reason for coming here tonight was actually just to give you the information. I know there's some members of the council had asked for information in terms of how much production, programming, and training, so forth, that we did it with quote unquote. So I've delivered that to some of you. We need to get copies to more people. I do think it will show you that the comment made, I guess, a few weeks ago by the CAO in terms of it being thin is probably not true. Okay. Having said that, I just, in watching all this and hearing all this, there's one issue that I think hasn't been brought up very much. It's so obvious. In Mr. Eunice's very good presentation, he referred to cadres of professionals. Well, the fact of the matter is that access television was not created for cadres of professionals. The whole idea was that it would be a space for ordinary people to be able to express themselves, and for the First Amendment to be just the principle of the whole thing. It's not for cadres of professionals. Okay. For instance, we had people working with us who had with disabilities, and they actually wanted to and insisted upon being on the crew and doing it themselves. And their model doesn't really allow that. And so they've been cut out pretty much. And the only other thing I really want to say is that I really have to insist upon uPublic not continuing to mention their collaboration with the Media Arts Collaborative Charter School. I'm one of the founders of the charter school, and on their governance council for years, and we have no collaboration with uPublic. So I asked them to stop. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Carduno.
Mr. Ranieri, excuse me, Mr. Ranieri. You were so quick.
I have to get my daughter home. She has to do her homework.
Okay, well, I'll take 1 minute.
Okay.
So did you say that there were some claims that were made by uPublic that aren't substantiated? I mean, like
the only contact that our kids at Media Arts Collaborative Charter School have had is we sent our kids down there one time just to see the place and so forth, and they came back kind of disappointed. But we have no collaboration with them. We have no MOUs with them, nothing like that. It was just one time they went down there and looked at the place, and that's the only contact between our organization, our school, and uPublic.
and Mr. President, I'll be able to ask that question also of uPublic so we can get both sides of that story. But the other thing that you said was that it was public access, and you feel like public access is being redefined some ways?
Well, yeah. Well, I think they're kind of skipping over what public access is altogether. You can say it's redefined or whatever, but it's just not public access. I mean, they want a professional group of people, and they want to monetize everything. The fact of the matter is that there are many people in this community who could use these channels who will never be professionals, and they don't want to be professionals, but they have the same right to be able to speak and be on TV as anyone else. And that's where they're all being left out. I can also say, along with Mr. Winter there, my son who plays soccer, he isn't being seen on TV either. And so, you know, there's a big gap there. There's a big hole in this whole thing. I don't have any problems with them wanting to do the best that they can, but you can't leave everybody else out. The vast majority of people in the community are left out. There have been many people who have gone to uPublic and said, no, you can't have a show. You don't qualify. You're not going to be good enough. And that's not what these access channels were created for. It's the opposite of what they were created for. They should have their own channel that's not access and do exactly what they want to do. And if they want to, and the city wants them to produce professional cadre, you know, professional producers, well, fine, but not at the expense of many other people in the community who now don't have a chance. It's just not fair. Thank you. Thank you, members of the council.
Mr. Hedgman.